G'day and welcome to the South African lawn. G'day Owens and welcome to another South African lawn video, and this is my creeping bent putting green, and today I'm going to do a small renovation or a renovation on this putting green, and then afterwards I will look at the results and the end result of this putting green, how it reacts to this renovation, and that might be the type of renovations that I do 2 or 3 times per growing season. So let me show you what I'm going to do, and then in future videos I'll probably keep you posted as to how this thing reacts to what I'm doing today. Yeah, welcome. Let's go for it. So before we get started, I just want to show you how good this putting green looks. Let me go a little bit closer and you'll see that this putting green really is almost completely filled in, besides for that area right there, and also maybe that area right there is a little bit thin, but for the rest of it, it is pretty damn good. And the reason for that is our last 2 or 3 weeks, the temperatures have really been actually the entire summer, the temperatures have not been scorching hot, and that has put this green into its comfort zone temperature. It just grows fairly vigorously, and that's kind of made my first year, maybe some funguses around. That's been tricky because it's been cloudy a lot, and then your warmer, not scorching temperatures with a lot of humidity allows for some fungus, but really the majority of the season has been pretty ideal for growing bent greens, or the temperature at least for making it grow vigorous, and that's made it a little bit easier for me to grow it in. You might have also spotted that I've taken out my cups, and yeah, they're getting a little bit dirty because the entire green is not made out of sand, or the base is not made out of sand only. There's also some red grond, red soils below, so that when it gets wet it gets a little bit muddy. Let's get to the renovation. Lekker man. Okay, so what I have right here is my spike shoes, which I will probably only use on my putting green because it just doesn't feel as effective on the bigger soily areas, whereas here I think the small spikes on this wouldn't damage the green too much, and therefore I wouldn't have too long of a recovery period. It wouldn't take 3 weeks to have a playable surface again. I reckon within 2 or 3 mows after my renovation, I should have something decent looking once again. Right, so I've got my spike shoes on, and after this process I'll probably dress it with my sand, because that's normal renovation procedure, and then maybe fertilize with something maybe more organic based. Well, we'll see what happens. But let's go for this spiky do. So I have spiked it once before, but I just want to show you that the motion that you want to do is quite a straight up and down. You don't want that walking motion. It just feels like you're going to rip the grass out. However, I must say, the previous time I did this procedure on this putting green never felt like this. It felt like I was disturbing the roots of this young bent grass, whereas now it feels a little bit more solid, and it just feels like it's making a hole in the ground and not disturbing the entire area, moving the sand and the roots around, So I placed some golf balls there, and you probably saw them, and that's in my sprinkler holes. So that's just to avoid me stepping with one of these spikes on top of a sprinkler head. Well, I just timed that, and that only took very close to 10 minutes for those 20 square meters. And I just want to show you the technique which I figured now out, which works a lot better. At the beginning, let me put this down, sorry, it's very hard to walk with these shoes. When I first got these shoes, I thought that it would be best if you put your foot down and put the one right next to it. But what happens all the time is these plastic edges catches on each other, then when you lift your leg up again, it sticks to it. So what you want to do is you want to leave a spacing. So you want to have a step there, and then step in the previous gap between those ones, and then move up and leave approximately 1 foot gap right there. Now there's a gap there and a gap there. Then you spike that area, move it up one area, and step in the gap again. Guys, the results, it looks absolutely amazing. I don't want to walk on it too much now, but there's holes approximately every 50 or 60 mils in some areas, like where I just showed you there, there's a million holes, but whatever. It looks good. It looks good. Have a look there. Manageable size holes. However, if you were to top dress now, you would need a really fine medium to find its way down these holes. So it's not really a complete aeration or hollow tine aerification, because you won't get a lot of medium to fall down these holes. However, what it will do is it will create space for air, water, nutrients to flow down and meet your root zone and then feed the root zone. So that's awesome. Right, so my last 2 steps here after the spiking is to fertilize with an organic matter. So this is what I've got here, and the reason why I do this is because this helps your microorganisms in your soil to thrive. You know, it encourages microorganisms. It you know, gets the Aerate, the earthworms and things going. You know, it's lekker, and especially with this green having obviously quite a thick layer of, well, about a 50 mil layer of sand, I really want to push organic matter. Another big reason why I fertilize with organic stuff here, either liquid or organic like this, is because the prill size of my chemical fertilizers are simply too big. They burn the leaf blade, can't use them on the green. Used it once, doesn't work. Literally, I applied it at a very low rate and it still burns some of the leaf blades, so not a good idea. They simply can't fall through. But the problem is, this is big. And now I've got my leaf blower here. This is another hack, Owens. I tried to crush this one day and I realized, you know, it just doesn't work. I tried rolling over it with a cook roller, you know, this wooden cake roller, whatever, flour, whatever. It doesn't work. So I discovered the mulching function on this. Have a look at this, guys. Now this is how I fertilize my lawn when I do it with organic fertilizer. Yeah, okay, so how this works is, this thing has got a sucking option here, blowing or sucking. And then what happens when you suck is, there's a blade inside here somewhere, I assume somewhere in here. And then when it's on the mulching function, you know, the sucking bit, it absolutely sucks it, and you're supposed to hook a bag onto this area, but I don't. So it shoots all this stuff that it's now chopped finer out this direction. So have a look at how this works, Owens. It's quite intriguing. So there goes your organic fertilizer in much smaller pieces, so that'll break up a lot quicker. It won't affect my playability at all. Very lekker. So let me get on with this. Yeah, it's easy as that. It doesn't make it an absolute powder form. There is some form of powder that shoots out, but most of them are chopped like in sizes a third. I promise you, like in this area, this is the biggest one I can find. That's approximately a third of the size that we started with. So it just breaks up a lot quicker. However, I must be honest with you, I have once supplied the big prill or the big pallet. That's a better word. So what happens is my mower picks that up and it shoots it off the green or into the basket if you were to mow with a basket. So I didn't really enjoy that. So this I would preferably leave for 3 or 4 days to properly break down with some water, because organic fertilizers break down with heat and water. That's the thing how it breaks down. So if you put water on it, it gets a little bit mushy and then it starts really breaking down once it gets in the heat. So that's really I found this to be a better way, and it's just such a cool way to apply fertilizer, where the leaf blower just shoots it all over the show. It's probably not very accurate, but working with organic fertilizer, you don't need to be very accurate. So yeah, let's gooi some sand down, and that should wrap up the top. No, not the top dress. That will wrap up the top dress, but it will wrap up my renovation of my putting green. Lekker man! Yeah, so right here I've got a bag of the sand that I used to build the green. So I'm going to top dress with this, in a bag like this. This is probably around 30-35 kilos. I packed this myself because I had that load of extra sand. So I packed this myself, so it's probably around 30 to 40 kilograms of sand, which is normally more than enough. You really can't go a 10 mil top dress on a putting green. The leaf blades are simply too small and you'll smother it. So let's go for a lekker top dress. Right, and now as a final step, I just brush it in with my lawn leveler. It really just helps it make its way down through the leaf blades, and also get all the higher spots, all the lower spots filled in with sand. So it really just flats it out a lot. Don't get me wrong, water works very well, but this just puts the sand in the correct places. So you can even after this come with water and water it down. Water is really nature's way of getting things level. I've watered probably all my top dressings before I had lawn levelers in with water, and it works wonderful. Right guys, that's going to wrap up my renovation, and from experience I can tell you that this probably won't take too long to recover itself and get back to playability, you know, a decent standard for putting and chipping. Honestly, up to now, probably the most difficult part with my putting green is getting all the parts to really fill in, because now I don't have any seed down anymore. I'm not putting down a lot of water. And talking about water, it actually uses less water. I find this Kentucky bluegrass asking for water before my putting green. I water that probably every 4th day or so. Whether it's the type of sand that I used, not 100% sure. It's not using a lot of water. That's the thing. I thought maybe, you know, I'm probably going to have to water every day or so, but it's not really that thirsty. Right guys, so just a couple of side notes. To be 100% honest with you, I think I'm scoring all the way with this being a smaller green, and I'm comparing it now to golf course size greens, because I can top dress and do things that's normally quite labor intensive quite frequently and easily, because it's such a small area. And that really helps keeps things like thatch and stalk growth, which probably becomes issues if you don't mow as frequent on golf courses, because this bent grass is quite an aggressive grower. It grows quite quick. Actually on the edges you can see some areas where the bent grass is taking over the bluegrass. You know, it's growing more vigorous in those areas. So yeah, I think the size of this green really saves me, and it keeps me from thinking of things like dethatching and going crazy with verticutting and all those type of things, because the sand really does a lot of that for me, or keeps a lot of those things under control for me. But other than that, not a lot to it. If you can think of anything that you need to ask me or want to ask me about the putting green, please shoot it in the comment section below, or send me a DM on Instagram and I'll try and reply on whichever platform. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, be sure to like this video. Liking the video really helps it rank up in YouTube, so I would really appreciate that. And if you have not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. If you like these type of videos, consider subscribing and smashing into the notification bell icon thingy, and that'll notify you when I post another video. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you watching till the end, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers for now. Bye bye. Yeah, so it's 2 days later and things are looking very good. The only very visible part of sand is right there where it's bare. But most of the other areas, it's really, the grass has come through, and also like the sand has worked its way down. So yeah, one other thing that I've definitely noticed is it is way softer. I promise you, I think the spiking has just softened up the sand below the surface. So now there's more space for the sand to move around. It'll be interesting to see how quick it firms up again with that cylinder mower. But all in all, looking very good, almost ready for a mow. I can probably mow today already, to be honest with you. I don't think I'll have too much sand getting into my blade.